Good afternoon, class. Sorry, I was in the mood for a little humor. I hope you enjoyed that. We are going to do layouts today. I can't tell you dad jokes all day. It's one of the best parts about being a dad is it actually matches my humor. My sense of humor is a dad joke. All right, so we're gonna do layouts today. We're gonna do some more work with layouts. So this isn't the first time. You guys have done this before. You've even done this for a grade. But we'll take a look at. We'll make a layout with a couple different map frames and look at some of the other features that you haven't used, like adding a scale bar and adding a compass rose to show the direction of north. All right, so that's what's on the agenda today, and I don't think this will take us the whole time. If we end early, that is fine by me. All right, let's do this. All right, so we're going to pick up from where we left off last time, and we were talking about some strategies for labeling and using the Maplex labeling engine in ArcGIS Pro. And so we have these library locations in this map, community anchor institutes, and then in the other map we have advertised broadband speeds, and there's both wireline and wireless broadband in this map. So one thing to note here is both of these maps have the same legend. Look at this. Well, this one I didn't truncate down, but the categories are the same. I don't know why there's all this extra stuff here. How did I manage that? But the categories are the same and the color coding is the same for these two different types of broadband internet access. All right, that'll be useful because when we make a legend for this map, we only have to include the legend for one of these layers, one of these feature layers, because they're identical. Alrighty. But maybe we do have to make this, this one's partially transparent. I just realized that. Let's see. Let's duplicate that. I don't remember what the transparency level was. Let's check it out and fix it. %. All right, so we'll just duplicate it here. There we go, 40%. So now they're both 40% transparent. All right, we're ready to go. And I did that just so that the legend will look the same for both layers. Okay, so we've done this before. You want to make a map layout, go to Insert, New Layout, and you got all these options for different map sizes. And if you're going to print it out on a standard printer, you probably want to print it. You want to format it using letter size paper and 8.5 by 11. And maps, it might look better in portrait versus landscape. We're going to do landscape because we want to put two map frames side by side. Okay, so here's our blank layout, and now I'm going to insert two map frames. I'm going to put in the Community Anchor Institutes, so I'll pop that in here, and then I will put in another one for the max advertised broadband speed. Pop that in over here, and you can tell that we're going to have to zoom in on this map frame, obviously. So once you make a mat frame, it's like a graphic on the page in Microsoft Word. You can move it around. Notice when you move stuff around, there's like these smart guides that appear. Like if I want to align the two mat frames on the top edge, and drag this one up, and that smart guide appears, and it sort of locks into place. You can do that with. You can add guides too. If you go up here to the ruler, either along the top or the side, and right click, you can click Add Guides, and you can specify the position of where you want it. So let's put one at 0.3 inches, and I can lock it into place there. So you can also control how big these mat frames are by dragging the corners like this, but you can also specify stuff. If you click on the Format tab up here in this dynamic ribbon that appears for mat frame, and over here you can specify where you want the anchor point to be. So let's say we want to anchor this map in the upper right hand corner. See that anchor point, that vertex turned black, it's the anchor point. So then we can specify the X and Y coordinates on the page of where we want that to appear. So maybe we want it to be, let's see, 8.5 by 11. It's 11 inches this way, so maybe we'll put that at like 10.7. Okay, so it's 0.3 inches from this edge, just like this one. And maybe make the Y, you can see 8.5. Make it, let's try 7 inches. No, that's not good enough. Let's try 8 inches. All right, we'll keep it right there for right now. And you can also specify the size that you want this thing to be. So let's try 5 inches wide by 6 inches high. And let's click on this one, and let's anchor this bad boy at the same Y height as the other one, so they're aligned, and make it the same width, 5 inches, and I made that other one 6. Let's make this one 7 inches. Okay, I mean you can you have complete control over this. And that's creepy. There's this huge raven hanging out around my house. It was out on my deck earlier today, and I just saw it by the window, right where I am right now. The raven. What does it mean? I think the raven is my spirit animal. What's it trying to tell me? Oh my God, it's creepy. It's just hanging out. All right. All right, what next? What next? I lost my train of thought. Quoth the raven. So you can align features using these guides. Yeah, now I move this again. Let's put another guide here so I can always get back there. We'll put it at there we go. We can get it back there where it was. So if this was down here and you wanted to align these two features, you can select the two, and I hold down Shift and select this one, and then you can come up here under the Format tab under Align, and you can align the tops, which is what we want to do here. You can align the middle so they're centered on the page. Align the bottom. That's not what we want. Align the middle. No. So typically what happens when you do this is the selection order matters. Like if I click this one first and then Shift click this one, this mat frame will be aligned to this mat frame and not the other way around. That's typically how it works. You can also align relative to the page. So like if I wanted to center these two bad boys on the middle of the page, I could do that. Try to click that off. If you wanted to distribute these things horizontally, uniformly, You can use, and it doesn't really make much sense for two things, but if you had 3 or more things, you can distribute them so they're equally spaced horizontally or vertically using this functionality. So they're not even options because I only have 2 things selected. Okay. So there's a lot you can do, but so these are just at this point, these are just images on the page. All right. They're not they're static. They're static in the sense that what's in the map frame is not changing, but you can move it around the page, you can resize it, you can do all that stuff. So if you want to change what's actually being shown in the map, you got to make it active. All right, so right click on this and click activate, and so now you notice that the ribbon has changed. It's now showing the tools that you would have in a normal map, and I can use my scroll mouse to zoom in here. Oh, come on. Oh my god. That's what I get. In case you didn't catch what just happened, ArcGIS crashed. Yeah. Let's see if it recovers my project for me. Well, better than nothing. Alright, so it's not quite the same as it was. But it'll do. Alright. So I could resize these things. I showed you all those tools, but let's just keep moving. So I want to change the way this map looks. I got to make it active. So I right click on it and click activate. And now that it's activated, I can use my scroll wheel to zoom in here. I can even use bookmarks. So one of the bookmarks here is let's take a look at this, Utah County. So it'll zoom to that extent. And you see the stuff being rendered. I can click and drag to show a slightly different area. All right. So when I'm done messing with the map extent, I can even turn off layers. If I want this feature layer to go away, I can turn it off. Okay, so you're controlling that map. And when you're done though, and you want to get out of active mode, you click this button here to go back to the layout. Let's mess with this one. So a lot of this stuff you've seen before. Zoom in the Provo. There's our labels, they appear. Okay. All right, so let's talk legends. You guys have done this before. I want to put a legend in here. Let's select this map frame. Okay. Oh, if you want to rename the map frame, you can. This is like max broadband speed, right? And this one down here, I'm just slow clicking on it, slow double click to make it active. What was that? That was community anchor points or anchor institutes. And so see, now I had the wrong, when I clicked here, I had the wrong one selected. So if I click this this map frame, over here in the contents pane, I click max broadband speeds to select, make it the active map frame, and then click legend. It'll make a legend for that map frame. So you don't see anything. I just see this little symbol here which says there's something here that you can't see. That's because the box isn't big enough. There, now I can see it. If I want to, these headings are really long. I can still go back and change them. I can come into the symbology pane and change these legend category labels. But let's not worry about that too much. But there's stuff on here that we don't need. If I right click on this, well, there's a drop down menu here. So some of this stuff I don't want to show. Remember, both of these wireless broadband feature layers are identical in terms of the symbology. So I can turn one of them off. I can turn the counties off. That's not really necessary here. And if I right click on the legend and look at properties, let's see. You can, long story short, you can control pretty much everything. So, you know, I want to look at properties, and what I was looking for is in here. So I click Show Properties. You can control what's shown, group layer name. You can turn that off or on. You know, the layer name here is wireless broadband. That's the feature layer name on the map, and it doesn't really add much here, so we can turn that off. And I'm not sure you can see that. Let me zoom in here a little bit. You'll see it disappear. The headings. Let me change that. There we go. The headings. I had them all selected. They didn't all have headings. Don't want to show the heading of that part of the legend. I can click it on and off. Patch size. Down here, patch width and height. These are called patches. The little colored rectangles showing the color coding of the map. So you can make them bigger or smaller using those adjustments here. What else? Text symbol. Let's take a look at this. Appearance. You can change the text font. Maybe you really like Times New Roman. Ugh, it's horrible. I don't like it. Ugh, Arial, so boring. Whatever. Okay, you can change the font size, make it smaller, make it bigger. What else can you do here? Position. You can justify things horizontal, center things, center it vertically and horizontally. That's probably not going to look very good in this case. So these settings right here, well, let me show you what it does. I'll put it back to 0. It sets this distance between the patches and the text. Let's see, what else? So I double clicked on here to get back to where I started. You go into this pane, you can change the way the legend itself looks. This little tab right here. You can put a border around the legend. This is something that looks good often. You can give it a background color. You know, make it solid white, and you can even, so one thing that works here is if you add a little bit of a gap between the patches and the text in the legend and the box, the solid white box. See what that's doing? It's adding a little buffer. You know, we're making something that's a thing of beauty here that you want to share. Yeah, a border. I'm not sure that adds much here. If you add a border, you know, let's add a border. See, the border is it tightly bounds the text in the patches. So if you want the border to be out, if you added a gap with the background, you got to add that same gap with the border to move it out. okay, but I don't want a border right now. We zoom out here, you know, so something like this would work with, you know, a map like this because there's not much going on up in the upper right, so you're not really covering up that much in terms of the interesting features of the map. But if you want to be able to see through the legend, you can do that too. You just gotta, you know, so I changed the color in here to white. If you go to color properties, one of the options down in here is transparency. So you can set, I don't know, a transparency level so you can see 30%. You can see through the legend box a little bit. All right, so the sky's the limit. You got pretty much full control over how you want your legend box to look. You know, I was working with Alexis last week. I think we were looking at a legend box that she had created, and there was like there were legend items for a particular feature layer in her map, and it was like 5 items, and the first one was here, and then the next 4 were in the next line of the legend, and that looks kind of ugly. So there's a setting in here where you can force all of the classes for a particular feature layer on your map to appear in the same column, and that worked pretty well for her. Where was it? So you got all these spacing options. You know, how much space. We only have one class or one category here, or one feature layer here, and so there's these. A lot of these won't do anything, but you can change the spacing between classes. You see it changing. It's kind of hard to see. This isn't going to do anything because we don't have different categories. We have one column here, so that's not going to do anything. Just one item, so that won't do anything. So if you have multiple feature layers on the same map, these other settings will do stuff. Under spacing, gee, now I can't remember where that feature was. Oh, there it is. So it's under here, under properties, legend item, show properties. It is right here. Keep in a single column. So if you have more than one feature layer on your map, and you want to keep all the classes associated with each one in the same column, you click this box right here. All right. Well, that's, I think, enough about legends. You know, if I want to, I can. If I want to add a legend, you know, so let's do, maybe not format it, but we can let's add a second legend for this map frame, and I just got to select it over here. It's the Community Anchor Institute's insert legend, and just kind of draw it in here. And you know, of course, I'd have to go and, you know, make it look the same as this or something like it. All right, but let's not do that. All right, let's talk about some other features here. Scale bars. So scale bars, you have lots of different options. Let me select this. We'll do a scale bar for this map first. So I selected it, the max broadband speed map frame, and go to scale bar, and I don't know. I mean, there's so many different styles here. I like this one. This one's pretty simple. This one's just the same with the text on the bottom. Let's pick that one, and I'm gonna put it down here. So with scale bars, you can control, you know, pretty much everything about these as well. Double click on it, and you get options for, like, you know, let's put the background color to white, and same level of transparency. I think it was 30. Okay, and then maybe we want to add a gap, just like we did with the legend, and it starts to look the same. Now, you got other features here, like you can change. If you go up here, if you make the scale bar active and go up here to the special part of the ribbon that appears for scale bar, and go to format, you can change the font, you can change the font size, you can even change the color of the text. And then under design, you can so here there's two divisions between each label, so maybe make that one, and now well, maybe two, make it two subdivisions, so now it's marking 0, 10, and 20. Make it 4. Okay, so, you know, you can make this smaller, larger. You have complete control, more or less complete control. And maybe you want to align this with the lower corner of the figure, so select, or the map, so select that map frame, and then click shift select this, and then we can go to format, align. We'll align left, and then we'll align bottom in 2 steps, and it gets that scale bar right there in the bottom. So let's I think I changed my mind here. I want to make this look kind of the same. Take the time to do this. Little gap. Show properties. Turn off the headings. All right, and well, that's good enough. All right, but I could change the fonts to make them look the same in these two maps, but I won't do that right now. Okay, and let's say that you want to then put, you know, these two map frames have different scales. This one is you're more zoomed in here, and so you got this larger scale map over here, but you won't put a scale bar on it. You don't have to start from scratch. These features, this scale bar is linked to this frame. So if I copy it, and then paste it over here, well, I paste it over here. So Alexis is asking if we need a scale bar when you guys do the practical. So I didn't require one last time. Let me think about that. It doesn't really make much. So here, if your map is a choropleth map, and it's like this thematic map where the colors, the color coding of different features on the map is what's communicating the information, scale bars aren't really that necessary. But if you want someone to be able to, like, navigate on their map, and, like, you know, so like here, like maybe you want to know, you know, estimate what's the distance between Springville Public Library and Spanish Fork Public Library, then a scale bar is really needed. You want people to be able to use their map to figure out distances. And in the same way, if you want people to know, like, what is the spatial relationship between features in terms of compass bearing, you probably want to add a north arrow to your map. But so I haven't done anything with this yet. I just copied the scale bar, but this scale bar is still linked with this map frame. So I can change that easily. I just got to go up here to design, select that scale bar, go up here to design under this dynamic ribbon that appears, and then go over here and just pick which, see how it's linked to max broadband speed. So I just got to select Community Anchor Institutes and it'll change. There, see it changed. And then I can, change the limits and everything, just like I did before. Change the number of divisions, all of that. So now it's linked to this map, and you can see, yeah, this is a much larger scale map. Okay, the distance is about 1 inch is like 4 miles, and over here 1 inch is like 15 miles. All right. North arrows. So you can add north arrows to your map, and there's all kinds of options here. You got like these full-blown compass rose, and they're beautifully styled and all that. Everything down to like simple little arrows with an N on top of it. Which one do we like? Let's do this one because it's kind of fancy. So I can just add that down here. Okay. So this is linked to this. If this map used the projection, a projected coordinate system where north wasn't directly up, this would be, look at that, I can change it to magnetic north and it changes. So here map north and true north are the same because it's probably using some sort of Mercator projection. Alright, and if you don't like the color, you can change that. You just got to click on, select it and go over here, and you can change the color to anything you want. Maybe you prefer gray, and then you got gray. Alright, you want to add text to your map, your layout, you can do that too. Dynamic text, well, static text, you can add it with this tool. So you can add, like, this is my map. That's obviously a pretty bad title. Well, let's do this a little bit better. Max advertised broadband speed. All right, that's what this map means. Let's make it a little bigger. And then I could do the same. Let's do copy, paste. Oh, sorry, I'm using the wrong keys. Control C, Control V, copy, paste. And then this over here is what was it called? Community Anchor Institutes. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have turned off. Do Y. It was something about Wi-Fi. If you remember that. Wi-Fi access at Community Anchor Institute. Something like that. And you can do, like, if you want to, like, make sure that these features always move with your map. So I can shift select the legend, the map frame, and the scale. And then under format, one of the options is group over here. So now they're grouped together. So if I move that map frame, they all move together. See how that works? Do the same over here. I just want to move stuff down a little bit. Maybe my compass, my north arrow is too big, make it a little smaller. You can just add rectangles, like colored rectangles to your map. You go to insert, and right here, just insert a rectangle. So you can, if you want this to have a gray background, you can do that. Alright, save the best for last. All right, there's a cool feature here that allows you, it's called dynamic text. Okay, new dynamic text. And when you click on that, what you see is like all these these options for adding text to your map that is it's dynamic in the sense that what is displayed depends on the data that's being shown in your map. So things like scale, and if you change the scale, this will change. So let's try that. So I'll select this map. Just want the map part of it, and then let's add dynamic map scale, and then right here I'll put the scale. All right, make it nice and big so we can see. And then let me ungroup this for a second. And then if I go into this map and activate it, not again. Unbelievable. All right, well, what you were supposed to see, well, let's try it again. Now it's going to be like, man, you know what my lesson here today is? Save your project. I don't know. You know what? I just did an update to ArcGIS Pro, and now it's crashing like crazy. Did the update screw it up? All right, well, it took me back to a point where before I added the text. But all right, let's pick it up from here. Okay, it undid a lot of what I just did. But what I was trying to show you is scale. All right, so let me add this scale right here. And then what you should see is if I make this map active and zoom, the scale changes. It's dynamic. You see how, maybe you can't see that. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Okay. So if I change the scale of my map, the text here for the scale changes. So you can imagine that that's pretty important. That's pretty powerful if you want to report the scale of your map, but you still want to make it easy to change in your layout. So there's another one, and you'll see this on like USGS maps all the time, spatial reference. So there'll be a box somewhere on the map that's showing the spatial reference frame for the map. So, I mean, here you're seeing the geographic coordinate system. It's GCS North America 1983, and you're also seeing the projected coordinate system as NAD 1983 Universal Transverse Mercator Zone 12N, and that's for this. That's for both maps. In this case, I'm pretty sure. And if I double-click this, there's actually a lot here that's not being shown. Like if I make this box bigger, look, there's more stuff here that's not being shown. So, you know, over here in these tags, you can delete the tags. You know, delete that if you don't want to. So maybe you just want to see the projected coordinate system, the geographic coordinate system, and the projection that's used. So we'll delete that. So just the projection, and then just delete all the rest of these things, these tags, okay? And so it's just showing that information, and then you can format this just like any other feature on your layout. But now if I were to go and change the projection, this would update too. All right. Here's something that's interesting. If you right-click on this, these dynamic text objects, one of the options is convert to graphics. Okay, you see that? Convert to graphics. And if you click that, that makes that feature static. Okay, it's no longer linked dynamically to your map, so that the text won't update anymore. So I'm not really sure why you'd want to do that. I'm sure there's a really good reason. When you when you save, graphics as a PDF, I know that if the thing that you're saving has fonts associated with it, those fonts get embedded in the PDF. So this might be a strategy of converting text into basically just shapes that are easier to represent and so you have a smaller file size, maybe. And yeah, I'm sure there's some really good reasons why you might want to do this. You just can't think of any. All right. Anyway, so some new stuff, some old stuff, and the making map layouts is an art as much of it as it is a science. It's more of an art. You're making things that look nice and are informative and have just the right amount of content that they get the message across. Focus in on the right things, the things that you want to emphasize, and they're all about sharing. The only reason to make a layout is to communicate. Or I should say, the goal of making a layout is to communicate. You want to communicate your map. You want to communicate something that your map shows with other people. All right, so have your audience, just anytime you're communicating, have your audience in mind. Visuals are important. They're all, formatting is important. We might think that, I think scientists in particular oftentimes fall into this way of thinking where they think, it doesn't really matter how my presentation works. What matters is my data. Is my data correct? Are my conclusions correct? And I guess I have two answers to that. On one hand, yeah, as far as science is concerned, that's true. But you're communicating with people, and people, we use science, but and science is this really amazing tool that we have, but people are people, and the way things appear in visuals, people judge books by their cover all the time. Okay, so if your goal is to be persuasive, you've got to also, you can't neglect the presentation and the way things look. All right, so that's it for today. Let me see. I don't see any more questions in the chat window, so I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow we will work in lab, and make sure you sign up. Okay, if you're planning to come to lab tomorrow, make sure you sign up using the sign up sheet, and I'll see you then. All right, take care.